future now. So it's like, how do we innovate? How do we innovate in ourselves? And how can we continue to grow with the times and stay relevant?
Yeah, I think that's a real important switch in culture, but uniquely to hip hop, because that switch from physical to digital in hip hop also coincided with the more access to recording equipment, more access to video cameras.
It became more popular.
Yeah, more people was able to contribute their piece to to music, contribute their piece to the art form. And early on, when I was, probably around, I don't know, 25 to 30, as this was really happening and more people were starting to rap and, starting to record and stuff like that, I was really, sometimes I could be almost, what's the right word, defensive about people how many more people was making music.
Oh, now they want to rap.
Yeah, every person.
Facts. Especially when you got pride and you got passion.
Yeah, and it feels like it dilutes it.
No, for sure. Because it oversaturates it.
When you were younger, it was really, we went to high school at the same time period. So it was specific groups that rapped. There's specific, entities and people that rapped. And for a nice time period, everybody sort of knew what those different groups or people was.
Now
and you had to know everybody in order to get things done.
Everybody was in the same spots recording. You had Neil, the OGs and things like that, to where we kind of knew what was what.
For high school talent shows, that was a place where you could come see somebody perform, people from other schools.
And we represented there. A lot of us represented. So, those platforms. But I think it takes just the sheer will and to want to do that.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I think like cats like us, when we was coming up, we really had the sure will. Like, we saw ourselves big on these marquees, right? We saw ourselves big across the world. Like, so it was nothing for us to get into a talent show, get into a cypher, get into a battle at lunch in the bathrooms or whatever the case. Like, back when the culture was just so golden, man. Like everything was new. Yeah. Everything was still new. So, son, like those are the days, dog.
And it's really sort of these first couple of generations of hip hop being built here. And one of the things I've also talked to people about is understanding where we exist at, not necessarily in the time period of music or hip hop, but in the time period of a culture being created. And just be
bigger than hip hop.
Because in Detroit, music has been a thing before hip hop and rap existed.
Since the 50s,
New York,
40s.
Harlem before hip hop and
70s,
rap existed.
80s.
So when hip hop and rap came, they were branching off of, again, specifically a black culture of music that already existed. So it wasn't really finding new managers for the first time or finding new studios to record for the first time, or the first few generations of people having to be able to help tell you what to do and where to go. They had multiple generations. So by the time you get to the 80s and the 90s, they got studios to record at already from other things that they have. They got places to perform at and venues to perform at. And they have pioneers in music that have laid some of these foundations. And one of the things that's here is that a lot of the hip hop artists are the first ones to lay some of those foundations for black music at that type of a level.
Urban culture,
and so we're not necessarily, we're in the first really decades of some of those things. Like some of the biggest pioneers for black music in this city are, it's somebody like Kenny Kid, it's somebody like Blaze, people who really did things for the first time that was seen by young black kids and young black
and
people,
motivated
and young
them,
black
no
artists.
matter how much people admit it or not.
100%. And so even Neil, it's a lot of people
he's a pillar
who learned how to record or got the desire to want to record,
or really learn how to really perfect their craft and really how their music, the sound be good.
And even the one of the things that can happen a lot of time I talk to different artists about and different younger people is that you have to sort of find your way to exist within the culture if you really want to contribute.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people just want to come to the building once it's already been built and they go up to the 10th floor and they get up to the 10th floor quick because it's an elevator up there and they get to experience being there at the 10th floor. But that's not the same thing as the person who builds the building and goes up the elevator one floor at a time. And when they eventually get to the 10th floor, and each one of them get to the 10th floor, one of them get there a lot faster and have a lot more success, but they're able to do that from a person who's building the building up. And we're part of generations that are building the building up. That's not the ones that's going to be able to take the elevator to the top all the way in one shoot. And I think that one of the things that's important is also letting some of the younger artists hear the mindset of older artists who haven't given up on the
bridging
art.
That gap, bro. I'm huge on that.
You said I did you dirt to know your worth. Join the long line. Join the long line. Join the long line. Don't going off our rhythm. I'm a victim of my own lies. Of my own lies. Of my own.
So I might be with my twin. Me and twin to tweak over the ends. I ain't close to my peak, but I'm in. Can't fake me or even compete with my blend. I'm nice with the clip bust. I'm white with the switch up. I gotta get richer. Got product in the picture.